right, so we've done lots of chains. Now it's time for single crochet, and you'll also learn how to work in back and forth rows doing a chain one turn. You will find out what that means as we go. Single crochet is the most basic stitch. It can be used to make literally anything in any shape, any form. You can use single crochet to make it. Here, I'm going to show you a few items that I make with single crochet so you can see just how versatile it is. And yes, I really made all of those things just using single crochet. So super important stitch, and now you're going to learn how to do it. And now we're going to learn how to single crochet. So clear off everything you've got on your hook, undo whatever chains you've got going on, make another slip knot, put that on your hook, get your grip going, and do 11 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, now when you start a row with single crochet, you chain one and then you turn to start working, which is going to make more sense later when we do it. But when you do it on the first row after you do a chain, you don't always turn. You sometimes just go ahead and work into the second stitch, and this will make more sense later. For now, just go with it, all right? So what I want you to do is, so we're not going to crochet into this last chain that we did. That's kind of our extra chain for turning, which we're not actually going to turn this time, but it's going to get confusing for you. So what I want you to do is kind of pinch this loop here and then pull on it. And that makes that little V very small so you don't accidentally crochet into it, because it'll be impossible to crochet into anything that small. So of the visible V's, that's hard to say, visible V's. Bet you can't say it 9 times fast. You want to make sure you've got 10 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you ever get confused about where you are, you can always just count backwards from here, and then you can figure it out. All right, so to single crochet, we're going to insert our hook into the appropriate stitch, which in this case is this chain right here. So looking at it with the V's, you're just gonna insert it between the two, lines. So stick it right in the middle there. So you just have this one little loop there that's been added on. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull it through that loop. You're not going to pull it through this loop, just through that stitch. So you're going to pull that through. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and then you're going to pull through both of these 2 loops. And that is a single crochet. So to insert your hook into the next stitch, you're going to, since this is the one that you just worked in, this is the next one. And again, you're at 10. So if you get confused, you can just count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because you did 1, so you've got 9 stitches left. So go ahead, and I'm keeping my finger on this to keep it steady. Insert your hook into that one, into that stitch. Yarn over and pull back out through that stitch. Yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. All right, and then insert your hook into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through both loops. If you want to take a look at it here, here's what single crochets look like. They kind of make little V's in the front, and they also make V's on the top, and you can see the top looks just like the chain that you made earlier. Fascinating, isn't it? All right, so I'm going to figure out which way to insert the hook. This one is the working end, so it goes in front. All right, so continue, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through that stitch, yarn over, pull through both loops. And again, make sure you're pinching as close to the hook as you can while you're working. You can just let this go. You got to hang on to this piece that's by the hook. And then insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Next stitch. See, now if you want to count where you are so far, you can just count the number of V's on the top. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've done 6 stitches, which means I've got 4 more left since we're working with 10. So this should be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it is. Hopefully that's where you're at. Insert into the next chain stitch. All right, and there's 10. Pull out some more yarn here. So you can just pull up on your hook to release that for a second. And then make sure you count and that you've got 10 V's on the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. So that was row 1. So to do row 2, you make a chain, which again was just yarn over and then pull through the loop on your hook. And then you turn. So here's the chain 1 turn I mentioned before. So now you'll be working into the V's of the single crochet stitches from row 1. Now, once again, I want you to grab your loop and pull a little bit so that you don't get confused and think that that one chain was a stitch you were supposed to crochet into. So you never crochet into your chain 1s that you use to turn. But if you don't do a chain 1, there's not enough yarn to pull it over without it getting all weird and shrinked up. So you have to do the chain 1 when you turn. So how do you find the stitch that you're supposed to go into? Well, you can look at it from the opposite direction. You can count backwards from 10, and you want to insert it into that V shape. So you'll be working with the V's. So instead of the stitch only being 1 loop, the stitch now is 2 loops, but it's still the same process with single crochet. You yarn over, you pull it back through that stitch, you yarn over, and then you pull it through both loops. Go through that stitch. See, I'm through that set of V's. Yarn over, pull through the stitch. Yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. So you want to do this into each stitch, so you should have 10 single crochet stitches when you are done with this row. And this will be row 2 because it's the second row. You've probably figured that out. All right, once that's done, be sure to count that as well. There should be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, For row 3, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to chain 1 and then turn, and then go ahead and tighten that a little bit. You're not going to need to do this when you get a little further along, but this is just to help you out now in the beginning. So you're going to do the exact same thing. You can see the V's on the top. You're going to insert your hook into that first V. You're going to yarn over, pull through that stitch, yarn over, pull through both stitches. So go ahead and do 10 single crochets here. All right, and pull that out. Make sure you got 10. Now, how can you figure out how many rows that you've completed so far? So it's pretty easy. It is hard to see when you're a beginner because your eyes aren't used to the shapes. But you can see the rows that you made facing you in this direction have kind of a V shape to them. Same with the one you just did. Whereas the opposite ones will have this loop going across the center of them and kind of like an inverted V. And you can see that on this side if you flip it over. Here's the loop going through it. This one, it's hard to tell in the state it's in now, but this one has a loop going through it. And then you've got the V shapes in the middle. So you can see you've got 1, 2, 3 rows. This will become a little more obvious as you go. So go ahead and do 2 more rows of single crochet. Chain 1, turn, go ahead and tighten that chain, and then do 10. All right, and then go ahead and take a look and then see if you can count the rows now. It might be a little easier now that you've got a few more to look at. So this is row 1, you can see the little V's. Here's row 2, you got the loops going through it. So row 3, there's some more V's. Here's row 4, it's got the loops going through it. And then there's row 5 with some more V's. You will get better at being able to see the different shapes as you crochet more. That's just something that comes with time. Now don't undo any of the work we did. Next, we're going to learn how to double crochet.